All right, welcoming you all inside the 5 days live bootcamp. This is day 3 of the bootcamp. If you all can hear me and see me properly, please type LC loud and clear inside the chat box. Yes, I hope you all can hear me and see me properly by now. If yes, then please do let me know inside the chat box and then we all can begin with today's session. Hi, everyone. If you all can hear me and see me, then please do let me know and then we all can begin with today's session. Yes? Thank you. Waiting for others. Thank you. Waiting for others. Okay. If you all can quickly turn your videos on, that would be great. Thank you so much, Abhilash. Thank you so much, Bhimrao. Thank you so much, Sakshi, Abhijit. Thank you so much, Rishav, Afsal. Thank you so much, Angad, Meghna, Basuraj, Meenakshi. Thank you so much. Waiting for others as well. All right. So today it's been day 3, correct? Day 1 we talked about box model. Day 2, which was yesterday, we talked about positions, and today today we are going to talk about flexbox, right? Okay. Before I move ahead and before we do something, before we write the code and before we do anything, I just have one single question, and the question is, how many of you are now able to see improvement inside yourself when it comes to CSS, in terms of, you know, confidence, in terms of how you write the CSS code, and in terms of output? How many of you are able to see the confidence and you are able to see, that something has improved? Yes, thank you so much, Angad, Tulsiram, Sakshi, Adarsh, Kashish, Rohini, Akhila, Srinath, Arun, Ankit, Duash, Nivin, Naveen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. If you haven't paid for the recordings, Anmol, now you cannot get it. That was a one-time offer. You got it, you got it, you miss it, you miss it. Right? Okay. Okay. Now, coming on to the next point, in today's session, we are going to talk about Flexbox. Not just that, in today's session, you will see how easy the CSS is and you will see how easily the things could be done, and your mind will be blown today as as I am going to give you the biggest superpower of this 5 days live bootcamp today. Right? If you're excited, type excited in the chat box and then we can quickly jump on. In today's session, we are also going to make a completely food ordering application live today itself. Right? So if you're excited, please type excited in the chat box and then we can begin with today's session. Yes? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Will the animations or not? Chakra animations will be covering tomorrow, right? Tomorrow we'll talk about animations and media queries, okay? Do not worry. All right. All right. So let me quickly share my screen and then we all can begin with today's session. Right. Okay. So before I actually do that, let me quickly share the rules and regulations once again with everyone, and that's very important. Right? Please make sure your cameras are on throughout the session, right? Number two, your mics will always be off just to ensure that you all can hear me loud and clear without any distractions. And if you have any doubts and questions, have some patience, note down the questions. 95% of the times it will get cleared even without you ask. And still, if you have the question, I'll give you enough time to ask the questions at the end, okay? And then you can ask your doubts and questions, and I would love to answer all your doubts and questions, right? And the most important thing, please do not try to write the code with me, but instead your focus should be to understand the concept and take notes, right? I will be sharing the source code with some assignments with all of you today as well. Is that clear? If it's clear, please type clear in the chat box. If it's clear so far, please type clear in the chat box and then we can quickly jump on with today's session. All right, perfect. So Let me quickly share my screen and then we can begin with the session. All right. I believe my screen is visible to everyone. If my screen is visible, please type V for visible inside the chat box. And if you all can turn your videos on, that would be super great. If you can turn your videos on, that would be super great. Okay, now listen. VS Code, right? And inside VS Code, we'll just open the project folder, right? Inside desktop, we have CSS 3 to 5. I'll create a new folder. I'll name it as day 3. I'll create it. I'll open it up. All right. Let's have two more files. One is going to be an index.html file, and then we have one more, which is basically going to be the style.css file, right? So these are the two files that we have over here. Now, going back to this HTML file, basic boilerplate, and now linking my Java CSS, which is going to be style.css. Simple. Now, in today's session, we are going to talk about Flexbox, correct? And we will also be building a food ordering web page, right? That is exactly what we are going to do and build in today's session, right? So, like a lot of times, a lot of students have this question in the past, and that was how to bring my content side by side, right? You have this question from the last 2 days. I know that you were super curious for that, but we are going to learn that today, right? Okay, listen, let's have a quick recap of what we have done so far. So, here is a quick recap. Let's say we have a class called card. Inside that, we have an image with a class called, let's say, card image. And here I will be having an image which could be, let's say, source.unsplash.com, correct? Followed by 1600 by 1000, again followed by, let's say, a burger, right? And after this image, I'm actually having in heading that says something like as a veg supreme burger, correct? And after that, at the end, I have something as, let's say, a description of 8 words like this. Hmm? Pretty basic, easy and simple, right? Now, if we go and see the output of this, you all know it is basic HTML, nothing good you will be able to see as of now. So, just very basic stuff. Now, let's go and design it out. So, I will just say that inside my body tag, everywhere the font family should be system UI, something we all are aware of. My personal favorite font. Then we have this card class. So I can say that the width is 270 pixels, right? And I will also say that we have let's remove the margin for now. I can say we have, yeah, that is it. And I can go here and I can say that when we have this card image, the width is going to be 100%. And we have got this border radius, which is of 14 pixels. Just very basic, easy and simple setup, right? Correct. That is what we have done. Now the question that comes over here is, Ashish, what if I want to have, if I have one more food item and then I want to bring it side by side, then what? Correct. That was the question. So the first thing first, let me have one more food item and then we will talk about it. Okay. Let me have one more food item and then we will talk about it. So I'll go over here. I will copy this card class and I'll just add it over here. And inside this, I could say this time that I have one more food item. Let it be a salad. Simple. Okay. If you see this now, I have got two food items. One is on top and one is on bottom. Correct. Now, generally, what I want them to be side by side. Correct. I want these food items to be side by side. Yes or no? Now, this is exactly where the flex box comes into the place, and this is exactly where we can use the flex box, right? Now, if there's anyone who is already having some knowledge of CSS, and you might say that Ashish, this will be done with float also, or with grid also, or with this also, that also. I know you can have that question. So listen, as I said previously, also there are multiple ways to solve a problem, but today we are going to talk about Flexbox. Number one, and float is something which is very limited and has very less resources, or it has very less powerful. Apart from which, Flex is much more powerful than float. That's why we are using the flexbox. If you have that question, then I'm answering it out. If you not have it, that's well and good. You are in the best position if you not have that question. Okay. Okay. Let's come ahead. If you see this, I just want you to see the structure thoroughly once. Can I just say that this is my one food item and this is my second food item, correct? This is my second food item and this is my first food item, correct? So for some moment, let me call this as item one, right? This whole thing became an item. Can we say that this is one item and this is one item? And I want to bring both these items side by side, correct? That is exactly what we want, right? Okay. Okay. Now, I want to give an example before I tell you how to do this. Whenever our neighbors, like neighbors have a very good tendency to come and give us the guidance, right? You all would have faced that at some point of time, correct? But have you ever listened what your neighbors say? Is there anyone who has ever listened to what the neighbors are saying? Like, you should do this, you should do that, this is happening, what you are doing, what's happening in your life. Have you ever take that seriously? No, right? We do not do that, correct? On the other hand, if a parent says something, we take that seriously and we try to do the things accordingly. Correct? Correct? So now imagine these are just two childs. This is your child one. This is the child two. And if we want to control these child, can I say we need a parent? And using the parent, we can control the childs. Yes or no? Make sense? Okay, see this. See this. If you all will make sure that your videos are on, that will be super great, right? What is the issue? Are you not attending it properly? Turn your videos on, right? Please make sure your videos are on. Okay. Okay. Aurangzeb is back. Good to see you, Aurangzeb. Okay. All right. See, if you will remember, if you will keep your videos on for the session, I will be remembering your name. I will be remembering your name for sure. Okay. Let's say I have a class called Flex. Or this is a parent, right? So it could be anything. Let me say it is container. Or let me say it is Flexbox. Anything. Okay. Inside this parent element, inside this parent element, what I'm saying right now is I'm just taking these two child elements, right? I am just taking these two child element and I'm putting the child element inside this, correct? I'm putting the child element inside it like this. Simple. What happened? Now I have a parent which is Flexbox, and for this parent, now I have two child which is item one or child one and child two, correct? Ashish, will that make any difference by default? No, it is still the same. I have one item on top and one on bottom. Correct. But now what will happen? See, now I can go here. I can go in style.css. And now what was the class name? If I'm not wrong, it is Flexbox. Inside this Flexbox, still no change. And just one line of code is sufficient. Just one line. What is that? I am saying that the display is Flex. Okay. Okay. Cool. Easy. Okay. What happened, Ashish? Whenever you are applying display flex, all the child elements will come side by side. Can you remember that? Right? Whenever by using display flex, all child elements, not chill elements, all child elements will come side by side, correct? Now, coming on to the next point, if you see this, there is no gap between these two food items. But if I need gap between these two food items, then what? If I need some gap between these two food items, then what? And if you need gap, you have a property in Flexbox, and that is gap. Acha, 20 pixels. See this. Now you have a gap of 20 pixels between two. Now, if you're still having this question, Ashish, this could be done with margin also. Why we are using gap? Let me tell you. Listen, if you're having this question, listen. Listen, please listen. See, if you use margin for a moment, if you're using margin of 20 pixels, then your first element, see, first of all, the first element will also get it. And the second thing is you have to put the margin in the card over here. And now the problem is, what happened? I got a gap here also. I got the gap between these two also, but I also got the gap in the starting, and I also got the gap in the end. And this is something which I do not want. I only want the gap if I have two items, then between two items. If I have three items, then between three items. That is it. And that's the reason if you're using flex and you're having the things, so you should prefer using gap instead of margin. Is that clear to everyone? Yes? Okay. Got it, Ashish. This makes sense now. Yes. What if I want to put three food items and then I want to make them side by side? Is that possible? And if yes, then how? Same way. Same way. I'll just go here. Right now we have two items. I'll copy this and I'll go here. I will add this and I'll just change the image from this to, let's say, something as pizza, right? And if you see this now, we have three different items like this, right? Let's do a refresh. So if I do it, this is exactly what I have. Easy. Are you getting this? Yes or no? Okay. Okay. Just one simple question. So far, is there any rocket science involved in this? No, right? Pretty easy and simple. Okay. Now listen. Right now, my whole content is shifted on the left hand side, right? What if I want to bring this in center, or what if I want to bring this on the right hand side and all of that? Correct? Listen, please listen. See, I have a property called justify content. Justify content. Okay. Okay. What it does, I will explain. The default property is not start, it should be start like this, right? Okay. If you see this now, if you see this now, nothing has changed for me. It is exactly the same, right? One item on left and then on same, right? But instead of this, if I say center, now my whole content is in the center of the page. Is that easy? Yes, that is. Now, if I need my content on the right hand side of the page, if I need my content in the right hand side, then what I can do? Justify content? No, will not use right. If for the starting it was start, then for the right hand side it is going to be end. Okay. 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 This is how we do it. Did you got that? Right? But generally we like most of the time we do not align the content on the right hand side. We either align it on left or on center. That is the default rule. So we will try to keep it in center for now. But is this clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone so far? Very good. If it is clear, very good. Now, coming on to the next problem statement. Now imagine a parent was having three child, correct? A parent was having three child, and sometimes what happened? The brothers fight, right? And when they fight, they try to go away from each other for a very less period of time, right? So if you want to have the maximum separation, right? Like right now they are very close to each other. If you want to give the space between them, then what could be done? And if you want to give the space, it is pretty easy and simple. And what is that is you have a property called space between, right? When you do that, what will happen? Between, space between them, depending on the space on my screen. Listen very carefully. Everyone, Afsal, if you can focus on the class, that would be cool. If you can focus in the class, that would be cool, right? Okay. Listen, listen. Now three items having the maximum separation, right? Now I have three items and all the three items are having the maximum separation, correct? Okay. Now if you see this, if I'm just reducing the size, what will happen? See, if I'm reducing the size, so they again came closer. See, depending on the size of my screen, they are having the maximum separation, right? Depending on the size of the screen. For example, if someone is having a big home, so they will be in a different room. If someone is having a small house, so they will be in a different corners of the same room, right? What that means, they will be in the maximum separation depending on how much space they have. Make sense? Is that making sense to you? Yes? Perfect. Perfect. Now, let me just style it a little bit more, right? Let me just style it a little bit more. So I will just say that my width is going to be 250 pixels around, and we do not need this space between. So I will just say it is in center for now, right? I have got these two food items, which is like this. Correct? Simple. What I need next now? What I need next? The next thing, the next thing that I need now is, see, right now, if I show you this, see, like till this screen size, it was good, right? It looks good till this point, and even till this, it looks good. But if I go like this, now it is not looking good, correct? Now, generally, what I want, it would be very good. It would be very good if I have the three items like this, one on top and then one on bottom and then one on bottom like this. Yes or no? That is what we want, correct? How this could be done now? Can I say this is exactly what is known as a responsive design? Depending on the size of the screen, content is adjusting automatically. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. Now, if I also say you would have spent so much of time trying to figure out how to create responsive designs easily, and if you have gone on YouTube or on Google, you would have spent hours on it. Correct? What if I say you can achieve this in just one line of code? One line of code? Responsive design? Yes. Let me show you. Okay. Okay. Let me show you that. Do not worry. I will show you. Do not worry. Do not worry. Do not worry. I will show you. See, I'll just show you first and then I will explain you how this magic is happening. Okay. 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 There is a property inside Flexbox, and that is this. That is Flex Wrap is wrap. Okay. See the magic first and then we will understand how it's working. Okay. See this. Right now I have three items and all the three items are side by side. Let me also do a refresh, correct? But how it is adjusting? And even if I go smaller, this is what I have now. Is this amazing? If this is amazing, type AMZ in the chat box. If this is amazing, type AMZ amazing inside the chat box. If this is amazing, type AMZ inside the chat box. Yes? Okay. And depending on the size of the screen, if you have a bigger screen, they'll come side by side, and this is what you have. Have you ever thought it would be this easy? Have you ever thought it would be this easy? See, Ashish, it might be easy to put three food items side by side and then make it responsive. What if I have 4 items, 5 items, or 10 items? Let me show you that as well. If you have that question, let me show you. See, listen. I'll just copy this, right? I will put it here also. And this time I'm saying, apart from pizza, I have something as a dosa, right? A masala dosa. And if you see this now I have 4 items. Let the images load. Yeah. And if you see this, I have never written the logic that 2 items should be on top and 2 items should be on bottom. But depending on the size of my screen, the content is actually adjusting side by side. Is that cool? See, depending on the size of my screen, everything is happening. Is that amazing? Okay. Now, how exactly this is happening? That is the question, correct? How exactly this is happening? That is the question, right? How this magic is happening. Listen. Everyone, can you all listen to me very carefully for 1 minute? Yes. Can you all listen out to me? Yes. Listen. Listen. See. Imagine if I have 2 items and these 2 items are side by side, correct? Okay. And imagine that the width of these items are 100 and 100 pixels. How much width I need in total to make these 2 items side by side? 200 pixels, correct? So generally, logically, I need minimum 200 pixels width in my screen to put these items side by side. If it is 300 pixels, it's well and good. If it is 500 pixels, 1000 pixels, it's okay. But if it is 180 pixels, that is not okay. Correct? So when we use the property flex wrap, when we use this property flex wrap, right, what it does, it checks what? It checks that what is the minimum requirement. Okay, 200 pixels. So now, until and unless my screen size is greater than 200, it will not do anything. And as soon as the screen size becomes 199, it will come in action and it will say that, okay, this is not possible. I will not allow you to put two items side by side because the space is less. So now you will shift here and it shifts one item. Are you getting my point? Yes. So Ashish, if you have three items, four items, then how it works? See, if you have three items, let's say, and each item has a width of 100 pixels. So now how much width I need in total? 300, correct? So as soon as the width becomes 298, let's say, it will shift the last item in bottom. So still you have two items side by side, correct? Now, if the screen size becomes less than 200, like 199, then it will also shift this one at the bottom like this. And that is how it works, right? So this is what the magic is. Is it amazing? Yes? Okay. Okay. Now, Ashish, you have shown so many things which could be done with Flexbox. You have shown so many things which could be done with box model. What could be done with Flexbox? How many of you have that question? How many of you have that question? Let's see something that will blow your mind. Let's see something that will literally blow your mind. Okay. Let's have a look. See, I'm going over here. I'm going over here. And inside this, what I'm doing, let me open a page. We understood that Flexbox is all about putting the content side by side, correct? Right? Let's start by something very simple. If you see the website of Code Karo, you would have seen. Can I say that these are the examples of Flexbox? Yes or no? You all will agree with that, correct? Okay. If you see this, these are also the examples of Flexbox, feedback side by side. What is this combination of box model and Flexbox? But now observe thoroughly. If you see this one segment, just this segment. A moment, please. If you see, if you just see this segment like this, correct? Can I say this is also side by side? Yes or no? And if this is side by side, can I say this is also an example of Flexbox where I have image on one side and my content, which is the name and that designation on the other side, is that also a Flexbox? Yes. Okay. Okay. What else? If you have seen a website, let me show you something. /id, right? Okay, I will just reset it. What is this? Can I say this is also a Flexbox? See, you would have seen the same kind of design multiple times where you have the content on one side and you have the image on the other side, or you have the image first and then the content. These are two sections which are like side by side using a Flexbox. Yes or no? That is a box model, Arun, with a different heights. Is it easy? Like this kind of designs, whenever you will get this kind of designs, it could be done just with the box model. It could be done with the Flexbox, correct? Yes or no? Yes or no? Are you getting this? What else could be done, Ashish? Apart from this, what else could be done? Listen, please listen. Let me show you something. If you remember on day one, I have shown you like Google search where I have searched something like Google News, correct? You might was having this question on day one, Ashish, how these two things are side by side. And I hope that now you have the answer of this. Flex? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. Let me come to a question. And the question is, what if I say, what if I say you can create a whole social media website just by combining Flexbox and box model? Can you believe me? In the chat box, please. If you just combine Flexbox and box model, you can create a really cool social media website. If you believe me, type IBU, I believe you. And if you're not able to believe this, please type no in the chat box. How many flexbox we can mention per page as per your needs? Okay. Let me show you something that will blow your mind. Ready? Let me show you a social media application that's only made with flexbox and box model. Right? If you're not able to believe me, please type no in the chat box. I'm very excited to see that. Harpreet Singh says no. Meenakshi says no. Okay. And what if I show you, then what? Then will you believe me? Okay, there's so many people saying no now. Okay, no worries. Let's see this. No issues. Let's just see this, okay? Let's just see this, and if still you will not be able to believe, then it's perfectly fine. Okay, let me just figure it out. Okay. Okay. Let it load and then tell me how it looks, okay? Let it load first of all and then tell me how it is looking. Okay. Just see this once. How it looks. First of all, tell me how it looks, and then I'll tell you that how it is being made. If it looks good, type LG in the chat box. If it is looking good, type LG looks good inside the chat box. If it is looking good to you, please type LG looks good inside the chat box. Right? Okay. Now, let's analyze this one by one. Let's analyze this one by one by one. Okay? Just see this. Please listen. Listen. Initially, and let me show you one more thing. See this. Okay. How to create this, we'll talk in tomorrow's session, but okay. Can I say this is a box model? For sure. Right? You all agree on that. Right? Okay. Because you have the first superpower. Okay. Now, if you again see this, can I say this part? Only this part. What is this part? Flexbox, where you have the image on one side and the content on the other side. Correct? Agree on that? Very good. Now, what next? What next? See this. If you see these icons, how to use these icons, I will be covering in like today's session itself. Do not worry. But if you see this, these are icons, and these icons are side by side. Flexbox with justify content space between, because they have the maximum space. Correct? Again, this is Flexbox. Yes or no? Very good. Now, if you see this, I have this story and these images are side by side. Again, what is that? Flexbox, right? What next? If you see this navigation bar, these are two items again side by side. What is that? Flexbox, right? And if you again see this part where you have one section which is post and the other segment which is your sidebar, that is also nothing but just a flex box where you have one content here and one content over here. Yes or no? Yes or no? Now, if you believe that yes, these kind of designs can be done just with the combination of flexbox and box model, if you believe now, type I believe you in the chat box. If you believe now, we can also achieve all of this by display inline block. No, display inline block does not have the functionalities like display, flex wrap, content like, gap, content like, it do not have the other functionalities, Karthika, RG, right? Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Can we use positions here? Absolutely, Naveen. If you want, you can use positions here as well. Okay. Now, let me show you one more thing, and then we will move on to the next point. Right? Do you all remember I made a promise with all of you on day one? Do you all remember I made a promise with all of you on day one? Yes or no? And the promise was by the end of day three, you will be able to make the website like Airbnb, YouTube, and Netflix on your own. Did you remember that promise? Did you still remember that promise? Right? Listen, if you remember that, I want to show you something. And I guarantee if you have attended my last two sessions and if you've attended this session so far thoroughly, you will be getting the goosebumps. I guarantee you on that. And if you get that, please type G for goosebumps in the chat box. Will you do that? Okay. Let's take a look once again onto the Airbnb website. Let's see that. Let's take a look onto this. Okay. Okay. Now, I just have one single question. See this. These are side by side, correct? Where you have icon on top. How to use icon, I will tell you right now. Do not worry for that. See, side by side, we can do that, right? Again, here we have the navigation, but how to make it, I will again tell you in today's session itself. Side by side. So ultimately, it is Flexbox, correct? And this is something which you all can easily do, right? Again, a Flexbox. If it is eye opener now that all of this could be done just with a combination of box model and Flexbox. And if you're getting the goosebumps now, please type G in the chat box. If you're getting the goosebumps now, that these kind of things could be done all by you. Please type G in the chat box if you're getting the goosebumps. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Madiha. Thank you so much, Parik, Tulsi Ram, Saurabh, Rishabh, Karthik, Sai Teja, Arun, Satya, Solanki, Sikandar, Arun, KR Foundation, Harshini Priya, Shalini, Naveen Rai, Aniket. Okay. Bhim Rao, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. That heart is an icon, Arun. That heart is an icon. How to use icons, I'll talk about that. Okay. All right. Now, coming on to the next point. Coming on to the next point. Listen. Listen to me. Want to see one more thing? What if I say I have gave you the superpower of day 3 as well? Now you have the superpower of day 3. Ready for the test, and then we'll build few things out of Flexbox, and then we'll also be completing our food ordering application. If you're ready for the test, if you're ready to check the superpowers, please type ready in the chat box. Can beginners in coding do this? Absolutely, iPhone, you can do this. See, if you will be in a situation that I'm a beginner, I cannot do it, you'll never be able to do it. You have to go and put your hands dirty, right? You have to go in VS Code, you have to sit, and then you will be able to do it. But if you're just thinking, I'm a beginner, how can I do it? You'll not be able to do it. There are tons of beginners who have seen CSS for the very first time, and they were able to make this on day 3. Okay. Again, same test. Let's go on LinkedIn once again, right? Okay. Just see this today, and now tell me, is there anything in this which you cannot make? Just see this. Can you see just 3 things inside this, which is Flexbox, box model, and positions? Nothing apart from that. Yes or no? Yes or no? Have you ever thought this way, that just 3 concepts could be used to create this kind of designs? Have you ever thought that? That you will be able to create this kind of design just using 3 concepts, 3 CSS concepts. Believe me, right? 3 concepts. And you know what? The best part, you all would have been knowing these 3 concepts from the past, right? You all would have been knowing it, either the syntax or much more about it, or just the basis, but you would have been knowing this. That's what I believe, right? In most of the cases. Yes or no? So where is the difference? The difference is when you actually try to analyze the use cases. The difference is when you understand what kind of problems could be solved with one single concept. The difference is when you follow the guidance of a mentor, right? You have a very structured and clear path. You're not getting distracted, right? Do you all agree on that? If you agree, type A in the chat box, and now we can start building something. Yes, if you agree on that, please type A for agree in the chat box, and then we all can move ahead. How to create your profile section thing. I have already shown that in the last session. If you have attended the yesterday's session, I have shown how to create that your profile stuff, right? Okay. Let's come back. Let's come back. Now what we are going to do is, let's skip our food ordering application for some time, and let's try to understand few more things inside the Flexbox. Okay. For some time, we will skip this, and then we will come back and do this. Okay. So this is my VS Code. And inside this, what I will do. Okay. So for some time, inside my display, inside the Flexbox, I'm saying I want to hide this. Everything is hidden. We have a very clean look once again. And, I'll just create a class over here called demo. Simple. Okay. What I'm going to do for now is, let's try to understand few concepts of, how you can create a complex design using a flexbox. That's what I want to show you right now. How you can create a complex design using the flexbox, right? So what we will try to do now, we will try to create a post, right? We will try to create a post like a social media post. Okay. Right now, we will try to create a social media post. Okay. Let's do it. So inside demo, I will have an image. Yes or no? An image, the main post that the user have posted. And for that, I need a URL. So I'll copy this. I will just put it over here and I'll say that I need an image of India, let's say, right? And the class for this could be, what could be the class of this? So for this, I could have a class and the class name could be demo image, correct? So if the user has made a post, he will also be writing a caption. So with the p tag, let's say a 16 words caption. Let's come here and let's start by this. I have this demo class where I will say that the margin is 60 pixels and auto, right? To bring it in center. I'm also saying that the width of this is going to be 520 pixels. I'm also saying that we have a border and the border is of 1 pixel solid and it's like gray in color and the padding, simple box model, 10 pixels, right? Last thing, border radius, how much? 14 pixels at the end. Inside this demo, I'm saying demo image basically. Okay. So we have the width as 100%. And I'm also saying that the border radius is again 14 pixels. Simple. If you see this, very basic stuff is what we have over here, correct? Now what I want to add a profile section in this. Yes or no? I want to add a profile section that which user has made this post. What was it? The profile photo, then the name, and the more details about him. On top of this, correct? So far, Flexbox is not being introduced, correct? Okay. I'm going here, and inside this, I'm adding a class called profile. Okay, like this. And inside this profile, I need the user image, so I will copy this. I will put it like this, and I will say this is an image of a man over here, which is having a size of, let's say, 300 by 300. Correct? And here the class could be user, right? After this, I am also saying I need a name, right? So I'll say heading 4, and I will say that the name is, let's say, I have a name, and I also need the username for this person. So I'll say the username is @ I am Himanshu, let's say, right? If you see this, I'm getting this, right? Now, how I need this generally, I need the image and then username, name, and username like this, right? This is the structure that we need, right? So it's very obvious I need to adjust the size of my image using CSS, and then I need to bring them side by side using Flexbox. That is what we want to do, right? So let's do it one by one. I will go in CSS and I will say that this user class has a height of, let's say, 60 pixels for now. And I'll also say that the width is also 60 pixels and I want to make it circular. So I will say that my border radius is how much? 50%. See this. I got this. Now what I need? Now I need Himanshu Srivastav here and the username here like this, correct? How to do it? Very easy. Flexbox is required. Where? In my profile class. So I will take this profile class. I will go here and I will say what? In this profile, I will say that the display is flex, correct? But this is something I was not expecting now, correct? I was not expecting this, correct? But why this happened? Let's see this. If I go back, see the structure. This is the parent for my Flexbox. And for this parent, I have 3 child: image, heading, and paragraph. And as I said, all the child will come side by side. Yes or no? So what I want to now confuse Flexbox and I want to tell Flexbox that, okay, this is one child And these two are not two, but they are one child. Like one is this and one is this. Yes or no? That is what I want to convey. How I will do that? To do that, I will group these two things inside a div like this. Correct? Now what is happening? Now Flexbox will treat this as one child and this whole stuff as one child. Correct? So if you see this now I have the image like on one side and the name and username on the other side. They are still not organized. We will do that. We will organize them properly, but this is how you do it. Is it clear so far? Right? Very good. Now, if you see this inside, I can use a class over here called the class is name, and I can use a class here also called username. Right? Let's go on to CSS. Let's start with this name, and I will say that the margin is 0. Right? I will again go on to the username. I will again say that the margin is 0. But I will also say that the font size of the username is 14 pixels. And I will also say that the color is gray, right? Or I can make just a darker shade of this. So bit like this. If you see this now, this is how it looks. Bit okay. But now what I want, I need some space between the profile and between the content he has posted. Correct? So in my profile, I will say that margin bottom is 24 pixels. This is what we have got. Correct? Okay. Now what I also want, I need some gap between the between the image and between this content. Yes or no? I need some gap between these two. Yes or no? Some gap between these two. Correct? How to do it? Very easy and simple. I think you all know how to do it. So I will go over here in my profile itself and I will say that I have a gap. How much? Let's say 8 pixels. Like this. Correct? But if you listen, again, there is a problem in this. What is the problem? It would be very cool if I can bring this name and username in the center with like center alignment with reference to my image. Right now it is on top. Yes or no? Right now, if you see this, see right now the image is on like the content is on top. But what I want my name and username to be in center with respect to my image. Correct? And that is where one new property comes into the place. What? There is a property called align items. Matlab, listen, I will explain. Center. I need in center, so center. See this. Name came in center. By default, this was a property. By default, name and content was on top. And as I said, center, it came in center like this. Correct? That is exactly what I was willing. Now, Ashish, what is this align item center? Listen. Listen. There are two things. In Flex, you have two things. One is justify content. And the second one is align items. Right? Align items is for the vertical alignment, while justify content is for the horizontal alignment. Is that making sense to you? If I have something which I want to align in this way in my x-axis or horizontally, I will be using justify content, correct? And then center or start or end or space between whatever I need. In the same manner, in the very same manner, if I want to adjust something vertically, I will be using align items and center to put it in center. If I need it on start, like on top, in that case, instead of center, I can say start. Then what will happen? Name will go on top as usual by default. If I need it at end, I can say end and now it will come on bottom also. But what we need this to be in center. So I'll just say center over here and it will be in center. Is it clear so far to everyone? Yes or no? Very good. Now, there's one last thing. One last thing. In this, we will also try to add an icon on here, right? You would have seen you get three dots like this on the right hand side, correct? You would have seen that we get the three dots onto the right hand side, correct? In a post, yes or no? You would have seen this kind of, and then when you click on that, you get a drop down, which is a JavaScript thing. We will just try to add, we will see how to add the icon over here, correct? Okay. Okay. Listen. Okay. Before I move ahead, if you can quickly turn your videos on, that I love to see people live. I love to see you what you exactly were doing, right? Okay. If you can turn your videos on, that will be super cool. How to add icon? Listen. Now there are so many libraries for this. Okay. You have Font Awesome, you have Remix icons, you have tons of options, right? So what I will prefer for now is icons by Bootstrap. So we'll go on icons.getbootstrap.com, right? If you have this question, Ashish, what if I want to use Font Awesome, or what if I want to use Remix icon or SVG 8 icons or something like that? You can use all of that, okay? The process is same. I need like a three dots. So let's just see where is that three dot. So if we just scroll it quickly, let's see if we can get it, what exactly we are looking for. So let me just search if I can get it. So if I just search for, this is what we need, correct? This is the icon that we are looking for, correct? This is the icon that we want to add. So we'll just do a click on this. And if you click this, then you will get this whole code, right? This SVG code of this icon. Just copy this, right? And I will go here. And what I will do, after profile, I need it on the right hand side, correct? So this is my profile. After profile, I will just paste this icon. If you see this now, if you go in the output, see, I have these three dots visible over here, correct? Yes. Let me just increase the size of this first of all. So if you see this, how to increase the size from here itself, you have the width and height. I will change this to 24 and 24 pixels. My icon became bigger, correct? Now what I want this icon to be on the right hand side, correct? How to do it? I need one more flex box now. I need one more flex box. Yes or no? Yes or no? How to do it? I will go here, and on top of my profile, I will create one more class called, let's say, flex. Hmm? Or you can say header also. Let's say it is the header like this, right? Inside this header, I need two elements. One is my profile. So I will copy my whole profile stuff. See, that is generally how you structure the flexbox for the use case. If you have like something complex, that is how you structure it out, right? That's why I'm taking this example today. Now, what is the second element? My SVG icon. I will take this also, and I will put this also over here like this, correct? Now, if you see this, please try to understand this. Listen to me very carefully. Try to see the structure. Now, header is my parent. And for this profile is one card, which will be on one side like this. And on the other side, I will have these three icons. So this is my second icon, second child, child one and child two. Correct? Is this structure clear to everyone? Right? Very good. So we'll go on to the CSS file. And inside the CSS file, I will just use a class called header. By default, if you see, there's no change in the output. Now what I will say, I will just say that the display is flex. The moment I do that, what happened? I got this icon here, correct? But I need my icon to be on the right hand side. What I will do, I need the maximum space between these two, right? So I will go here and I will say justify content space between. See, my icon went onto the right hand side. But again, the problem is my icon and my profile is not aligned properly. Icon is on top and profile is here. How to align them? You all know that it is align item center. Yes. So I will go over here and I will say here that the align items is center. And the moment you do that, see, it came on bottom over here. Now, why it is on bottom? You need to understand that because if you remember earlier, earlier, when we have used this profile, I have used this margin bottom of 24 pixels, which I will remove from here now. So, see, now it is aligned properly, right? But I need the space again between the post and the whole content. So in my header only, I will say that the margin bottom is 24 pixels. So I have the space also and it is aligned also properly. Looks good. If it looks good and easy and simple, type ES easy and simple in the chat box. If it's easy and simple, please type ES easy and simple inside the chat box. Why can't we align all three in one flex box? Raigan, because see, there is a structure for everything, right? There is a process for everything, right? How you can do that? See, if you have to control this part manually, correct? You have to convert this profile part manually, and then you have to convert this whole part again manually. So you need two flex boxes, one to for your profile and one for this whole header part, right? You need those two sections only. It is not possible to control all of that in just one shot, right? It is not. Okay. Okay. Can't create single class instead of duplicating for just margin. We have not duplicated. Okay, listen. Anyone who's thinking we have duplicated it for margin, see this. Please see the structure. See, this whole profile was one thing. The profile was one thing, and it was, if this is my profile section where I have the image and this, I was willing to put the icon over here, correct? So I need a different flex to do it. There, you can do it in one flex also, but that will be more complex. So for now, I have given you a simple approach, right? You can do it in one parent also, right? But then the HTML things will become complex. That's why I have not did for now, right? Right now, my job is not to show you how complex or how how many less lines we can write the code, but to help you understand the things easily, right? That is also what I have to think, right? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. So now let's come back to the food ordering application that we were making few seconds back. Do you all remember that? Do you all remember that? We were actually making something. So now I will go here and in this demo, I will just hide this. Display is none, which means it will not be visible anymore. And let's come back with our food items. This is exactly what we were building, correct? Okay. Now let's try to just adjust them a bit and then we will do something else also. Few things. Few things. What I will say that in the card, when I was having the heading 3 tag, then the font size was around 17 pixels only. So it became a bit smaller. And I will say that margin bottom is only of 6 pixels. Or I can say margin bottom is 0, right? Fine. And then similarly in the card, when I was having the paragraph tag, I can say font size is now 14 pixels and it has a margin of, let's say 6 pixels on top and bottom and 0 on left and right. So this is how it looks more good, more, a bit more accurate. Okay. Okay, now what I need, let's do one more thing in this. If you remember, we have learned in the last session how can we use positions, because we are making a whole application now. So we will try to include some part of positions also in this. And that is, let's add those bestseller and rating stuff in this so that it looks even more good. And then we'll be creating the navigation bar part, right? Like the header part. Okay. All right, let's do it. Very easy and simple. So I will just go over here and what I will be doing into this. See, I will say something like this. We'll go on this and I will create a class over here called card header. Correct? Inside this, I need this image now. I will cut this image and I will put it over here, right? And with this, I will put a class called try, which becomes must try or the best seller. So I'll just say it is best seller product. Correct? Right? Okay. Now just style this out. Let be quick. So you should remember how to do it. Inside the card header, I will say that the position is what? If you remember yesterday's session, position is relative because that is the parent. Correct? Then what? What was the class? Try. For this try, I will say that the position is now what? Absolute. I will also say that the bottom is 0. If you see this now, bestseller came on top. That is exactly what I was looking for. Now I will just style. So I'll say background color is not CAG. It should be background color is yellow. I'll also say that the color is also yellow. Correct? What else? I could say that the font size is 14 pixels. I will also say that the border radius is 12 pixels. And then the padding could be 3 pixels and 10 pixels. And now let me just change these colors as well as per the needs. So I will change the background color to the lighter version. So something like this. And I'll copy the same stuff now. I'll put it inside this, and here I will be shifting it to something like this. And if you see this now, so this is how the bestseller looks, and I need to add some margin. I'll say that the margin is of 12 pixels. Done. Right? Okay. Now what? What next? Okay. So the next thing with this is, let me see this output once. Okay, I can make the padding to be 12. Let's say 14. Now it's bits okay. Or 12 was more good. Fine. This could be just 2 pixels. Yeah. Okay. Now what I will do, let me just try to add the ratings for the first time. So ratings will be available everywhere. So I'll say that ratings is 4.3 and let's say 245 votes, right? How many people have actually voted it? So if you see this now, so this is how it looks like, right? So I can just say like this also. 4.3 245 votes, right? So this is what we can see, and this is exactly what we can add everywhere. So I will just copy this card header part, right? And we will try to add it everywhere like this. And over here as well. And then for the last time over here. So now we will just cut or remove these extra images that we have. So we'll just remove these extra images. And for the second one, it becomes to be the image of salad. And the ratings becomes, let's say, something as 3.8. And there's just 45 votes because maximum people do not order that. And here we'll change the name to something as green salad because it should look, that it is bit original. Here we can say I need an image of pizza. It could be 4.5 and 512 people voted in this. It becomes with supreme pizza. And for the last one, I could say it is a dosa. Here it becomes 4.1 and 389 people have done the votes. Here I could say something like this. Like this. If you see this now, so this is how it looks now. Let it load with all the images like this and like this. Okay. Now what next? On some food items, I want to add an option called must try, correct? In some food items, I will add an option called must try. Not with all, with some food items, right? That's what happens, correct? So let's do it. Very easy and simple. But I will try to add the must try option. I will try to add the must try somewhere here, like at this point, right? Let's do it. Very easy and simple. So how to do it? But before we do it, if it is looking good, type LG in the chat box. If it is looking good to you, type LG in the chat box. Flex basis, not in today's session. Okay. What I want to do now is, see. So to add a must try option, what I will do is, or we can just add the pricing over here, right? We can add the pricing on the right hand side, right? So I will go over here. This is looking okay. Let's not make it complex for now. Mm, kind of okay. Anyways, I will start with a class called, let's say, card dash flex heading, and then a paragraph that says the rupees green salad 149, right? Okay, let's do it. So I will also add a class into this, and the class is price, correct? Let's go here. Let's say that the class is card flex. So what will happen? Display becomes flex. See, I want to align it properly. So I will say that align items is center. Done. Okay, I have removed the margin. So I will fix that. I will go here in my price, and I will say that the margin for this also is 0. So let me check what I've done with the card heading. Okay, margin bottom is 0. Fine. Fine, fine, fine. So I'll also say here also that margin bottom is 0. Or I will just remove this also, and I will remove this also to align it properly. Where that is. Yeah, done. Aligned properly. Now, moving ahead, what I will do is I will go here, and I will also say justify content how much? Space, space between, right? So pricing has shifted onto the other side, which is rupees 149, correct? Right? I got the pricing also done. Now I want to put the same pricing everywhere in all my food items. But before that, I will go inside this card paragraph, and I will say margin is 0 everywhere, so that we have some. Yeah, now it's okay. This rupees 149, I will just copy this section and I'll put it everywhere. So I will just copy this like this. Okay. And here it becomes veg supreme pizza. Let's go for the last one, which is masala dosa, and I could say over here this is my masala dosa, and at the end going over here for the first one again, and this becomes something like as a veg. Right. Now it is up to you how much you want you can add into this, right? It is up to you how much you want, how many things you want you can add. But I hope you have got a much better understanding how the things are getting done now. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. Okay. Now, what I need next, I need a header section, correct? What I need next is a header. Yes or no? How to get it done? Adding a header is very easy and simple, and let's do it right now. It's super easy. I will just go over here, and on top of everything, I'll create a class with a section called nav, a class called nav bar, right? Simple. I need logo on one side, so an anchor tag, and for logo we'll take an image, and I need a button on the right hand side, something like order food or something, right? So we'll add a button with a class called button that says order now, correct? Let's go on CSS, and if you see this, I got this order now, so I need the logo also. So let's just go on Zomato to get the logo done. I'll just search for, let's say, pizza, correct? So what I'll do now is pizza for delivery. Okay, this is the logo that we're looking for. So I'll just right click on this. I'll go on save image as, and inside this, what I'll be doing, today's day 3, and I will change this name to logo, correct? We got this saved. Let's come back, and I will add the image tag, and it is logo.avif. This is what it looks like. I know the logo is so big, we will fix that. We will fix that, do not worry. So in this, I will put a class also called logo, correct? Let's go on to CSS and let's do it. See, logo is the class. So what I will say that the height of the image is, let's say, 24 pixels. I think that will be sufficient. Yeah, got perfect, right? What next? I need my order now button to be on the right hand side, correct? I need my order now button to be on the right hand side. Again, very easy and simple. What I will do for that, the class is button, right? And the stuff is, the class is nav bar, right? In this nav bar, the display is flex. And also what I will say that justify content is space between logo on one side, image on the other side, right? Logo here, button over there, correct? Correct. Now what I need, I want to style my button. So I'll go inside this button. I will say that background color is white. Hmm? I will also say that the border is 1 pixel, it is solid, and it's light gray in color. I'll also say that we have a padding which is of 15 pixels and let's say 26 pixels. I will say that the font size is 16 pixels. If you see this, this is how it looks. And at the end, I will also say that we have got this border radius of 12 pixels. If you see this, this is how it looks. Now it is not arranged and adjusted properly, right? So we will be doing that right now. And actually to adjust it properly, I just need some box model properties. First of all, I want to adjust my width till this point, correct? Till my food items. Yes or no? That is the first thing I need. And then some gap also between my navigation bar and between this. So I will just say here in my navigation bar that let's say the width is going to be 990 pixels, right? Mm, yeah, okay, perfect. And I'll say next to this is, and that is going to be that the margin is 20 pixels and auto. And I hope we will get something very perfect. Okay, let me change this to 1100 or 1060 pixels. 1060. Cool, we got it. Done? Yes or no? Now what I need some more space, right? So I will go here. Where? In this part. I will go here in this part, which is this. I will go in this part, which is my flex box. And inside this flex box, which was initial flex box, I will say that margin top is again 40 pixels. If you see this now, I have enough space like this. Now, if you see this properly, they are not aligned in one row. They are not aligned properly. My logo and button is not aligned. So in order to align them, what I will say, in my navigation bar, I will also add the same property, which is the align item center. I'll say align items is center, and now they are also aligned properly. And now you can add as many food items as you want in the same process. Yes or no? You can literally add as many food items as you want. Yes or no? Ashish, can you show me how to do that? Yes, I'll do. See, this is just for the demonstration purpose. So I'll just copy this card, right? And let me just add it for 4 more times at the bottom over here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because it is burger, so it is getting the same image. Let me just change the images so that it looks good also. I'll just change it to something as let's say let's say you know idli, and then we can change it to something as we have a curry, and then we can change it to something as juice, and then we can change it to something as let's say momos, right? Okay, let's do a refresh. So now you have got something like this. Okay, let's change it to momo, right? I think now we can get something. Mm-hmm. Let's change the last one to something as any dishes in the chat box. Let's say biryani. Now just one simple thing. Is it looking good? Is it looking good? Yes or no? How easy and simple it is. Have we used any kind of rocket science to make these things? Have we used any kind of rocket science to make these things happen? There's only one thing. Have you ever found CSS to be that easy and simple? Ever? Have you ever found CSS to be that easy and simple? Okay. You know what? I want to talk something very serious with all of you. And if you can turn your videos on, I have something very important to share with all of you as well. Right? Okay. Before I share that, I'll be taking a quick selfie, and then I will be sharing something which is very important with all of you. Right? So, having a selfie with all of you on a countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. As usual, I will be sharing this with all of you inside the WhatsApp group. You can check that out. Okay. Now, now, I want to tell you something. Please make sure your videos are on, right? Because I'm going to tell you something very serious, right? Please make sure your videos are on, right? Why after selfie you keep these videos are getting recorded, right? The whole video is getting recorded, right? And I'll be sharing this with all of you at the end, right? If you have made the payment for that. So, okay, listen. Can I say you are here because you want to learn web dev, and you want to learn web dev because of 3 reasons? You either need a job or an internship, number one. Number two, or you might want to switch the job from a different profile to as a web dev. Number two, you want to start your own side hustle or a freelancing journey, or you are a college student and you want to learn it for your college projects or just exploring this field. Correct? These might be the only 3 reasons why you are here right now. Correct? Coming on to the next point, being a beginner, what mistake we make is we follow two approaches. Either we go on YouTube or on Google and start directly searching how to do this, how to do that, how to do that, how to do this, how to create something like this, how to create something like this. That's one approach. Or on the other hand, we go and search what is a roadmap or how can we become a full stack developer or a front end developer. And we get thousands of roadmaps. Correct? And then we see one roadmap today, next tomorrow, and then we are in a search of the best roadmap. Correct? Now, in this whole process, two things happen. Number one, When you're doing all of this, whether you are searching something or whether you are doing something, we feel once I get the best course, I will be able to learn it. Correct? That is what we all feel. Correct? Correct? But you know what? That is not the issue. I can guarantee right now, maximum people, we have 250 people here, and I can guarantee more than 250 of you will be having at least 2 to 3 Udemy courses on web dev, at least 5 to 10 YouTube playlists bookmarked for web dev. Do you agree on that? Ashish, have you hacked my system? No, I haven't done that, but I have also done the same in the past, and maximum people do that, and that's why I know that. Correct? So if the course and the content was a reason, you would have not been over here. Correct? Correct? So first thing you need to keep in mind, having a course content is not the issue, right? In this internet scenario, the problem is you have so many courses, right? And I specifically call them as information overload. And because of having so many resources and so much of content, we get confused on what to follow and what to avoid. And because of that, we put maximum time just figuring out that what to do and what to avoid. Do you agree with me on that? If you agree, type A for agree in the chat box, right? If you agree with me, type A for agree in the chat box. Let me tell you one more fun fact. I guarantee maximum people here would have watched at least more than 10 roadmap videos on how to be a front end or a full stack developer. Do you agree with me on that? Do you agree with me on that? Yes? Ashish, how you know that much? See, I have taught more than 30,000 people in the last 1.5 years, and I exactly know what are the pain points where the students struggle and what kind of problems they actually face. Right? See, the problem is when you watch those roadmap videos, for example, you started learning CSS today, tomorrow you'll get the suggestions to learn JavaScript. Next day, TypeScript, then Tailwind, then Bootstrap, then React, then Node, then Angular, then Vue, and then a bunch of stuff are there, right? And that is where we get confused and frustrated. There's a hell lot of things in web dev. I'm not even able to do one thing and I'm getting tons of suggestions. Someone says React is dead, learn Next.js. Someone says React is dead, learn this. Someone says JavaScript is dead, learn TypeScript, XYZ stuff, correct? And we keep on figuring the things out on what is right and what is wrong. And then we feel I'm spending so much of time sitting in front of my PC or on laptop, but I'm not able to learn web dev. Correct? Do you all agree with me on that? Right? And why I'm saying that very confidently, because I was there in the same scenario a few years back, right? And today you are also there in the same scenario, right? This might sounds similar to some of you, but not might sound similar. But let me tell you how I learned web dev, right? How many of you want to know how I learned web dev? How many of you want to know that? Right? Right? Because Ashish, you know web dev, so how you learn it then? See, let me tell you something. I was something very similar to you. And when I was in my college, that time like 4G was not there, the line Geo was not there, no good broadbands were there. So what I used to do, I used to go in cyber cafe and I used to use torrent and download the most premium web dev courses from free from torrent. That's what I used to do. And at that point of time, I was having around more than 300 GB of content only related to web dev. And you know what? And this is when I have done my 12th because I was very fascinated about this coding and all stuff. Until my graduation first year, 1.5 years, I was just figuring out what to follow in those 300, 400 GB of content. Right? I was just figuring that out. I was not even knowing HTML and CSS properly. And suddenly one day in my college, after when I was at the end of first year, one of my college senior got pleased. We were from the same city. We were living in the same PG. And like he was in my school senior as well, so we were having a very good bond and a very good connection as well. And he got placed in a company in Bangalore at 8 point something at that point of time in 2015 around. And that was a time when I went to him and I said, how you learn web dev, I am also interested. And his profile was full stack developer at that point of time. So I went to him and I asked him like, Bhaiya, how you did that? And he told me, Ashish, I learned from my senior. So I said, can you teach me? And he was like, no, I will not teach you. I said, like, we live in same PG, we are from same college, we have a very good bond. Like, we were supposed to eat together, do a lot of stuff together. So I was like, why you will not teach me? Like, if you cannot teach me, then whom you will teach? And he was like, Ashish, you will not take me seriously. And I was like, whatever you will say, if you will say stand in one leg and do something, I'll do that. And he was like, make a payment to me, give me something, and then only I will teach. And I was like, why this is important? And he was having a very good connection with me, and he told me something that has blown my mind. And what he said was, when we get something for free of cost, we never ever pay attention onto it. Correct? And until and unless you pay money, it is easy to start something. It is easy to show dedication on day one, but it is difficult to continuously do that for 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. And that day, like, I was not willing to do that, but because I was so fascinated, I talked to my parents and somehow convinced them. And at that point of time, I made him a payment of around 30,000 rupees, somewhere around 30,000, 27 or 25,000. I'm not sure about it. And you not believe, in just 6 months, I did not follow any video after that. In the next 6 months, I did not did anything. Whatever he taught, that's what I practiced. Whatever he said, I did that. And in the next 6 months, I was not just able to learn web dev, but I was able to win an hackathon. A national level hackathon happened in All Indian Council of Robotics and Automation as a full stack, like in New Delhi, that happens. And I was able to participate in that. And I won that national level hackathon. And in my college second year, I was having a remote job in 2015. Right? So when this whole 6 months passed, I realized one thing: having a mentor is very important. And having the right dedication is very important. See, with day one, we started with more than 450 people, right? And today we have just 270 people, right? Why is that? Is it because the content is not good? It is because I'm very boring? No. The reason is, it is very easy to start something, but it is very difficult to continuously and consistently do something, right? And you all are the people who have paid an amount to come in this webinar, right? It's not that you have not paid something, but still, there's very few people are here who are able to consistently do it. Ashish, why you telling me that? Because these two things are the only way how you succeed, right? If you really want to succeed in any field, you have so many resources out there, right? You do not need to go and search the best one. You just need the focused implementation under the guidance of a mentor. It's very important, right? And the consistency. Nothing else is as important as these two things. And you know what? Why you getting results in just 3 days? Because you have consistently listening to me and you are following what I'm trying to say to you. Do you agree on that? Because you're not getting distracted, because you are not following anyone else, because you're listening to one person, and that's why you are not in a state of confusion. And you are following, and that's why you're getting results. Do we agree on this? Right? So, see, I'm just telling you this because I really want you people to succeed in the field of web dev. And that's why I'm telling you the biggest secret of if you want to succeed in web dev or in any field, you just need to have a mentor and implementing the things what you're learning from him. Correct? Because implementation is very important. Now, Ashish, who can be my mentor? Anyone. It could be your college senior, it could be your friend, it could be someone in your neighborhood, someone in your family circle, someone in on YouTube, someone like me, anyone with whom you can resonate, with whom you can learn, right? So can I call my friend and say, you become my mentor, and he himself learning from YouTube and teaching you the next day? No. It should be a person who himself is having some sort of idea, who himself is having some sort of experience, then only make him as a mentor, right? Do not make a person as a mentor like you call your best friend and said, Ashish, I need a mentor to learn web dev, so please you become my mentor. And he himself do not know web dev. He's learning a few topics from YouTube and coming next day and teaching you something, right? So do not make that person as your mentor, right? Your mentor should be one who has some experience and who have time to teach you as well, right? Because if he cannot spend time with you, you'll not be able to learn. And if you follow these two things, you can easily succeed in this field, no matter what is your educational background or what the stuff is, right? Does not, nothing matters, right? I have students from mechanical background, civil background, commerce backgrounds who are currently working in companies like, Zoho, AMD, Reliance, so it fresh works. So it does not matter from which educational background you are or whether you have year gap or not. I have one of my student was having 4 years of gap, 4 years of gap, and right now he's working in Tata Class Edge, right? So as a full stack on a package of 6.5. So the thing is, you just need to learn and practice, have a good skill set. Rest everything is secondary, right? I'm saying this because literally no one talks about this on YouTube, no one talks about this on internet. What everyone talks about this, do that, do that. But until and unless you close those things, until and you stop doing mistakes, no matter how much you do, you will not be able to succeed. Right? If it was an eye opener session, type EO eye opener inside the chat box. If it was literally an eye opener, type EO eye opener in the chat box. Srishti says, sir, there are so many things yet to learn. Within 5 days, it's not possible. How can we do that? There are so many things in our mind. See, Srishti Datta, initially your focus should be not to figure out how to do this and how to do that. How can I create this kind of design? How to create this? How to create that? But your focus should be to understand the concepts and understanding its use cases, like we did in the last 3 days. Box model, what all could be done with that? Positions, what all could be done with that? Flexbox, what all could be done with that? And as you move ahead in this process, you will be able to do and build a lot on your own, even without figuring out how to do this and how to do that. Okay. Now, before I move ahead, let me quickly announce the winners of yesterday's assignment. And and then I have one more bonus to share with all of you, right? So let me quickly announce the winners, and here are the winners. Just a moment. Let me announce the winners. So the first winner of today's assignment is Sai, phone number ending with 464628. Sai, phone number ending with 4628. If you're here in the class, please drop your UPI ID and you'll get the things for itself. Okay. Moving on to the next one. The next winner is Pradeep Kumar, phone number ending with 04030. If you're here, please let me know in the chat box. And the third winner for today's session, is, just a moment. It's Shravan Reddy. If you hear Shravan, phone number ending with 65684. Let me know in the chat box. You will be receiving a cashback of rupees 199, right? Okay. And the best part, tomorrow, I will be choosing just one winner. One winner tomorrow. One winner tomorrow. But tomorrow, the cashback is not 199 anymore. But tomorrow, the cashback is not even 299, but it's 399 tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow, the cashback is 399. Amazing, Ashish. Okay. Now, what exactly we'll be learning tomorrow? Listen. How many of you are struggling with media queries, responsive designs, and creating animations with CSS? The most frustrating things inside CSS, correct? Whether it comes to animations, whether it comes to creating, responsive designs, that is the most frustrating thing I believe you all would have faced, correct? And what if I say, tomorrow I will show you that how responsive designs and animations are the most easiest things you would have ever seen. How easily you can create animations and how easily you can create responsive designs. Animations in just less than a minute. Believe me, I'll show you tomorrow how you can create cool animations in less than a minute tomorrow, right? I'll show you how you can create responsive designs in less than 4 to 5 minutes. All that live tomorrow exactly at 6 p.m., right? How to add insert arrow sign to change images. Swishi data that requires JavaScript. You can add the image of arrow sign using the icons, but to actually change those images, you require JavaScript. What if we need customers to rate it? All that require the backend Manvi scene, right? That is where you need the backend, right? To dynamically handle everything. The ratings are changing. You can add the ratings. People can add feedbacks. All of that is the backend stuff, right? So Niven John, the total amount for the recordings was like, I'm not sure, but it is I think 398 or 298 something, right? And the second thing is how the promoted tank can be styled. That is just a transparent way, right? Okay. Will you teach grid? Not in these 5 days, right? Now, if anyone is having any questions, I'm here for 5 more minutes. So if you're having any questions, I would love to answer the questions. Can you do backend bootcamp for 5 days as well? You cannot learn backend in just 5 days, Manvi Singh, right? There's a lot of things inside backend, right? You need to know a backend language, you need to know database. A lot of things are there, right? You need to know front end as well. So a lot of things are there in backend. Okay. 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 So Mayur says you haven't showed menu bar like when three dots are clicked, menu bar shows up. Right, Mayur? Because for that, it requires JavaScript. That when you click on something, then something pops up that is a JavaScript stuff that is not CSS. Okay. Is all over? Can we leave? Yes, Vishal, you can leave. So tomorrow we'll talk about two things: animations and media queries, right? And I will be choosing one winner tomorrow who will be getting a cashback of rupees 399. Right? So I'm super excited to see you all live tomorrow exactly at 6. See, it started with more than 400 people and now it is just almost 270 people or 300 people. So if you promise to join tomorrow live exactly at 6, type IP, I promise inside the chat box. Can you teach Angular also? I can register for that. No, I do not have much experience with Angular, so I'll not teach that. Can I learn React without knowing JavaScript? No, Rajnikant, you cannot. Can you do a front end bootcamp then for 5 days? Manvi, what you're learning right now is also front end, right? Okay, okay. Prabhu says the value that you provide in these 3 hours is totally exceptional and sets you apart from other mentors I have had. Thank you so much, Prabhu. That's a really good feedback. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. I'll I'll check that Sharat Shinde, what the issue is, and I'll get a result today itself. Okay. All right. What exactly should we learn to become a full stack developer? Front end and a back end. Is that easy and simple? Right? Okay. All right. Flex basis shrinks grow when will you teach? Not in these 5 days, Gopi, right? How much time does it take to learn web dev? 5 to 6 months is more than sufficient, Vivek. You teach React and JavaScript bootcamp timings are overlapping. Is that the exact timings? Please check the timings. One is in morning and one is in evening. Hari Krishna. Okay. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Take care. Have fun. I will see you all live tomorrow exactly at 6. And we will be talking about we will be talking about animations and Flexbox. Where can you get the source code? Inside the WhatsApp group as usual. As usual. Thank you so much, Mayur. Thank you so much. We will not learn grid in these 5 days, Nivin John, okay? If you want to learn more, I have something for you at the end, right? We'll talk about that. Have some patience. Okay? All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Take care and have fun. Bye bye.